If we create a string variable called newsOutlet, for example, we can only store one value in it at a time. Arrays, however, allow us to store many strings in that same variable. Each can have its own value. They all, however, have to be of the same type. In this case, because this is an array of strings, each value has to be a string. And since they're all stored in the same variable, to tell them apart, each part of the array is numbered, always starting from 0 and counting up for as many items exist in the array. If you want to retrieve the value inside any of those boxes, you just have to type the array's name followed by the squared brackets with the box number inside those squared brackets. For example, newsOutlet of 0 has ABC in it. newsOutlet of 1 has BBC in it. And newsOutlet of 2 has CNN in it, and so on for the rest of the array. Each of those expressions can be treated as if they're normal variables. Let's see how. In Java, you could think of any array as if it's one row of a table, where each box in the array has a different value, but they all have the same name. In this example, I'm creating an array of integers. So each box would have an integer inside it. Those boxes in Java are called cells. As we mentioned earlier, each of those cells is numbered starting from 0 and counting up. These numbers are called the cell indices because each number is an index to a particular cell. For example, this cell here has an index of 0. This cell here is the cell with index 3. We can treat each cell as if it was a separate variable. Like, for example, if we wanted to add this cell here to that cell there, we would just say something like this. Integer sum equals numbers of 0 plus numbers of 3. Our array name is called numbers, and we just access the different cells using the indices like that. And then this statement here is just considered as if it was a variable. So we could add them together, we could do anything we can with a normal variable. So this would update our variable sum to become 15, because it's adding 12, which is numbers of 0, to 3, which is numbers of 3, giving us 15. But how do we even declare those arrays in the first place? Let's say we want to declare an array that looks something like this. We type in integer and then empty square brackets, just to say that we want to create an array of integers, not just a single integer. And then we write the name of our array, which in our case is called numbers, and then we follow that by equals and then curly brackets. Inside those curly brackets, we just list all the values we want to have in our array. Notice that I didn't have to specify how big the array is. What Java would do is it will just assign each of those values into a cell in its internal memory, and it would assign each cell an index. So that if you want to reach the value 1 to 1, you just have to access it using the index 7. So, for example, if I try to print out numbers of 0, I get the output 12, because this is the value inside the cell with index 0. If I wanted to print out the result of the multiplication between numbers of 9 and numbers of 12, that's basically -4 times 2, then our output would be -8. An array of doubles is no different. For example, if we wanted to create an array of doubles that looks something like this, we just go ahead and say double and then empty square brackets again to separate it from a normal double, and then we just put in the array name followed by equals, curly brackets, and we list the values inside.